I'm your host, Michael Thayer, and we've been talking with Andrea Brewer from Reliant Realty and Marla Baggett from Keller Williams, touching on the earnest money. The earnest money gets deposited comes out of your checking account and all that stuff. So that's money that actually does cycle through and leaves your account. But you also get credit for that on the closing settlement. So it's not like it's a fee going somewhere. It basically goes towards your down payment or something else that you may have to do for your loan. Now, for inspections, though, we were talking about the homeowner's inspection. Now, that one you said varies depending on the size of the house, but that's a true fee that they never receive that money back, correct?
Correct.
What other inspections could they possibly have? I mean, like termites, do they have to have structural? When do those kind of things come into play?
It's going to all be situational based on the house, but you are going to want to get a termite letter to make sure the home does not have any active termite activity. And that usually depending on, again, the company, but you're looking anywhere between $25 to $55, something like that.
Okay.
And a lot of times that is paid on the HUD at closing.
So, let's say now we're going through the contract. We've got through, the inspections and so forth. What about title? How does that all get selected? How does that all work?
Well, when we write up the offer and in the contract, we will specify a title company who will do a title search on the house for the title insurance to make sure that somebody can't come back and say, "Oh no, this is actually my house. I just was lost at sea on an island for the last 50 years, and you're gonna have to give me my house back."
That would be fun.
That's less likely to happen, but say there could be a roofing contractor who has a lien on the property because he replaced the roof and the previous homeowner never paid him. Right. You don't want to get stuck with that, so you have a title company who goes and searches all of that to make sure there aren't claims against the property.
Now we have a contract accepted and we've gone through all that. What's the next phase? What would happen next on the traditional transaction?
If you pass the home inspection period, which is normally in the first 10 days or whatever, and they decide to move forward, then you would pretty much throw it to the lender to order the appraisal and start the loan process.
Right.
And then they're gonna, that's when they're gonna ask you for, hey, let me see where you paid off your braces in 1994.
Up to this point, we've gone through the whole offer, the negotiation, submitting your loan to the lender, and now we're getting ready for closing. So, let's say we're a week out from closing, Andrea, and what can a first-time home buyer expect? What's the normal process at that point?
Pins and needles.
True.
I'm just kidding. A week out from closing, hopefully they're kind of getting a good idea of, they should have a good idea of how much money they're going to need, at least,
Good ballpark.
A very good ballpark, and starting the process of setting up utilities to be transferred into your name at the house, final walkthroughs, that sort of stuff. That would be, where you go walk through the house one last time. If you had the seller do any repairs, you're going to check on those and, make sure the house is the same as when you initially went to purchase it.
Let's say everything goes smoothly, or actually let's back up and let's just say something doesn't. Let's say the repairs aren't done, because, things happen. Right. So what's the repercussions? Typically I would think that the seller just was running late, didn't get everything done. You guys go back and do a second walkthrough, or what do you typically see?
You could do a second walkthrough. Sometimes you just write a separate, addendum in regards to, this repair will be done by this date, and,
Right.
Get something nailed down and in writing.
Okay. Now you've done your walkthrough, and you've done your final look through, and everything is in order, or you've addressed it and so forth. So now you come to the big day of closing. Mm-hmm. What generally takes place?
Well, you're going to get a final number, an exact amount once the HUD is approved by the lender.
And what's the HUD?
The HUD would be the
closing statement where everything is broken down. You can see all the numbers, where all of your expenses and everything went, and where the seller's numbers are, so that you can know not only how much you need to bring to closing, but also where your payments are, and everything will be basically finalized at that point for your review.
So, how long should a closing take? Realistically, if you got a first-time home buyer, it's going to ask some questions, which they should, because they're signing their life away literally, along with their firstborn and everything else. But what do you say? 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
First-time buyer, an hour, maybe a little longer.
And then after that, does the client typically get the keys right then, or when do they get possession of the house? What generally happens there?
Generally, you would get keys then, and you would take possession of the home as soon as it funds. There's, different scenarios. Sometimes people need a day or two to move out, but that would all be prearranged in your contract, and you would know. But most of the time, you are going to get keys right then, and you're a homeowner.
Hey.